I am doing at the moment, and I love it. I love to explore the songs. I love the languages, and if I can combine things together, if I can make the Mexicans sing their songs in the concerts, or the Arabs, I was just, as I told you, in Kuwait, make them sing their Arabic song with me, the Greek. Oh my God, yes, I'm happy. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I'm very happy to do that.
Good morning, Alexandra. It's so lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this lovely invitation. And I mean, your smile is like the big opening to this beautiful conversation I'm looking forward to.
Lovely. And you've got such a lovely background as well. It's just that your whole picture there is just perfect.
How beautiful. Well, this is part of my studio, with some. I like to surround myself and remind myself of, the beautiful places I have been and the prizes I've received. It's kind of narcissistic, I know, but I just love it, and say, oh my God, yeah, that was then and this was then. Oh my God, that was like a nasty person who was in this production. Oh, that was a great one. So yeah, I love it. It's my space.
Yeah, but I think it's wonderful that you can, I don't think it's narcissistic. I think it's more as if you remind yourself of what you've achieved and also of your worth, because I think that's so important that we acknowledge that.
Yeah, I think so too, because I mean, every artist, I mean, I can only speak for me more or less, we know how hard it is to achieve, first of all, your studies, to make things right as it has to be, your voice, in my voice, in my case. You want to reach the perfection that is asked by the teachers, etc., etc., and then you go to the next stage, which is like starting to work and making a career and then making many things. And so these things, they remind you of these different steps. And of course, there are so many steps, and I'm grateful for my steps, So good and bad ones, they are all part of life.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we forget, and I think also maybe younger singers don't always realize, or younger people don't always realize the path that's involved, and the time frame that's involved, because we live in a time where things are very instant and people want to achieve something in 3 years. And I spoke to a bass singer just the other day, and he said 10 years in a singer's career is not a lot of time.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. I mean, this is I mean, in my case, you're talking to someone who had a real long way of development, and with many difficulties, starting from problems with the throat from a teenage years. I mean, it is something. If you don't have the passion and the dedication that it needs to pursue this dream, it has to be a dream that you want to pursue, because it's not a job that you just learn the 5 years and then you do this and then you do that. It is much more than that. It's a passion which, if you don't have this passion to sit down and actually dedicate yourself, I know it sounds very stereotype, but it is the truth. There's no way you can survive this. I mean, like, personally, you can't survive the strength that is needed, the mental strength, the physical strength, the strength of the competition, because the artistic competition is, I would say, a much harder way of competition that needs to be, that you are out there in the world of music. There's so many things involved. It's such a. And the colleague you were talking about, 10 years, yeah, that's what you want to invest, more or less, to develop your voice, to develop your character as a singer. It depends as well on how old you are when you start. It depends on the repertoire you want to get into. There's so many things. And to be honest with you, if my son, who is now 13, would come to me and say, Mom, I want to be a singer, I would, as a mother, protecting mother, I would check, first of all, I would like to know if he has the strength to get into the fight, because it is a fight. It's lovely to have a voice, it's lovely to be born with a talent, but that's nothing in comparison what is expected of you that is coming then. And I'm not talking just about the classical education, the classical singing education, which is my thing, but music-wise, I'm not anymore in the classical repertoire. That's a different story. But if you can, as a person, if you have that, that strength to go with everything that comes with it without destroying actually your your personality in the sense of, surviving it and make the reality not destroy your initial dream of being a singer. You start here and you are on the way to get there. So what happens in that road is the question, if you can make it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds dramatic, but it is. I mean, don't forget I'm Greek. but the thing is, it's the reality. And sometimes, I mean, I'm not a teacher. Sometimes I'm giving advice or some master classes. But when you hear these beautiful voices and you see in their face, God, I don't know if they can make it, if they have the personality to make it. And then what do you say to somebody? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Well, but it is, and I've also asked many artists, that and many singers about that part of it, about getting out there and getting the work. And it's like you say, it's not just about the voice, it's about who gets seen and get heard and get to the right people and get the right contracts.
This is the absolute truth. But I do believe before all of this happens, you have to have, of course, you have to have a color, you have to have a voice, and you have to have the passion, as I said before. Then you have to have you have to find the right teacher who is right for you. There's so many. We're talking now about the classical singing, you're right?
Yeah.
There's so many techniques out there. There's so many singing schools out there. There's the German school of singing. There's the American way of singing. There's the Russian school of singing. Everybody thinks they have the best method anyway. So for a student to get through this without the right guidance is very, very dangerous in the sense of to get lost, you see, because you have the voice. What is the voice? There are two vocal cords, small, little, tiny things here, and the whole physics that you have. And if you're not guided correctly, you can mess up the whole instrument. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good to have good guidance from the start to avoid problems like I had from the start, right from the start of making the dream of a teenager come true, which was, much, much more difficult than the normal way should be for someone who wants to continue the path of a professional singer. So,
you have a very interesting story, and it's really inspirational to know where you are now. And I would love to hear what happened to you as a at what age did you start singing?
Well, how much time do we have? I'm very happy to share this story with you, which I've said. To be honest with you, when I said the first time for a Greek television program, I shared my story on a very public program about losing my voice when I was 16 and what happened next, I was very embarrassed to actually talk about this. I felt an
Really?
embarrassment 10 years ago. Today, I feel like I can maybe help somebody out with
Mm.
that. So I'm very happy to that you're asking me, and I'm very happy to share it with you. It's actually very simple in a way. If I look back, I mean, now I am in my 40s, but when you are 16 years old, it's a different story,
Yeah.
right? Well, I always had a voice. What do I mean by that? I was as a child, I was singing like all most of the children do, but the difference with me was it was kind of nice. Everybody was like astonished. So I was singing. I didn't know anything else, and it was not special to me. I was just singing. I was singing here and there and singing, just singing. And when I was a teenager, I started singing in bands and being like a rock girl, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
being like you are. I wasn't coming from a musical background. I didn't have any. I wasn't listening to any opera at home. We were listening to normal entertainment music. And I have to say, I was born and I grew up in Germany. So the music culture was there, but not in my house, not in the house, my household. So I was dreaming to become a rock star, basically, with
Yeah.
feathers and everything.
Okay.
And I started singing in bands, and it was great until one day I was 16, and I remember that very well. I had a very bad laryngitis, which means like the larynx, the cords, they were like inflamed as you get these colds and flus. But with the difference that I was unlucky because um, I had a sore throat with a sore voice. The voice was hoarse actually,
Mm.
and instead of actually shutting, keep it close the mouth
Yeah.
and not talking, I was actually trying to talk and data, and that is the huge problem. The big thing that started. I got a chronic inflammation of my left vocal cord and no antibiotics, which I was given like, oh my God, for 2 years. It was impossible to get it. It was there. It was there in the sense of the voice was there. I could sing, but I had a lot of pain. I had because the nerves were affected and all of this. But there was no doctor, no laryngologist to actually help me out, and that was in Frankfurt, in Germany, which might sound a bit strange, like, okay, here we are in a civilized super country with all these, doctors and professors. The only thing they were telling me was like, my sweet girl, you will never be able to sing anyway, and don't even think of having a job like a teacher where you have to use the voice. And well, to cut it short, at some point, then I stopped thinking about becoming a singer. I concentrated on my abitur, to
Yeah.
get school education. But if you have it in you, you never stop dreaming of wanting to be some singer. You want to. This is how I was born. So, and when I did my abitur quite well, actually, I said, why don't I give it a try and go and have an audition for the Musikhochschule. And I went to Freiburg. And I did my audition, not big stuff. No, I sang a Brahms song, and that was my salvation. There was this lady. I don't remember her name anymore, unfortunately. She was there in the panel of the professors listening, and she said to me, "I think you have a gorgeous voice, but something is not right." She heard that at my passaggio, we the singers, we have the passaggio where it wasn't, the chords were not closing, they were not closing right correctly. And I thought, oh my God, somebody just heard my problem, and I started crying in front of all of these people. And this woman actually saved my life because she took me then aside and she said, you know what? I would like to work with you, but you have to go first and check out your larynx if it's all right. And she sent me to this wonderful doctor in Hamburg, in the Saarland, in the clinics, in the university clinic. Dr. Barth is his name, was his name. And I went there, took the train and went to him maybe 2 or 3 days later. And he diagnosed that I had a paralyzation almost of the left vocal cord because all of this mucus of the years was chronical and made the cord not move anymore the way it should. And I said to him, okay, doctor, I have to say, he was a phoniater. We call it in German phoniater. This is the special doctor you have to consult if you have a thing with your cords. Don't go to normal guy who doesn't know about singing voices and just knows about the noses and the ears.
Yeah.
And he said to me, basically, I said to him, all right, I will do everything. And he said to me, you have to stop talking. I said, what do you mean? You just will stop talking. I said, how? Okay, I stopped talking. And at that time I was 19, almost 19, and I said, what? He said, how long? He said, I don't know. You just have to stop talking. So the result was I stopped talking. He gave me also some enzymes, I remember. And I was living in Frankfurt am Main. So I was getting into the train once a month to see him in Hamburg in the clinic, which is close to the French border. And he would check and then say to me, okay, you can go home now. For 1.5 years, nothing happened.
Really?
I was like not talking. I took it very seriously. I really wasn't talking. I wasn't even making I found a way to communicate with my hands, with my writing. I started studying in the Johann Wolfgang Goethe Universität, musicology, philosophy, German literature, to do something with my brain, until one day he said to me, after 1.5 years, he said, talk. I'm like, what? He said, it's gone. So basically, as you put
amazing.
When you break your arm, your hand, you put it in a plaster. So how do you put a voice into a plaster?
Yeah.
You just stop talking. And that's what I did. And
so you literally didn't make a sound. So you
no, it's very hard for you to imagine today. I'm like blah blah blah. But yeah, absolutely, yes, I took it very seriously because I knew I'm going to be fine because I finally found somebody who actually found my problem.
Yeah.
You see, all these years from 16 to 19 until this diagnosis, I was actually singing and speaking, but with pain. I was about to become like the voice of Joe Cocker, this kind of voice.
Yeah.
But because nature gave me that gift, I could compensate it, but nobody would take me seriously until this guy actually saw that there is this problem. So when he said to me then, you're fine now. And I said, what do you do next? Because I was like trying to talk and the voice was cracking, of course. So I started to have logotherapia, went to a logopedist, as we say in, actually, I don't know what the word is in English. I know it's in German, logopedie. And for 6 months, I was doing like ma, mo, moo to get all the muscles working again. And not just the muscles, but my brain, to get over the fear that I might hurt myself by talking.
Yeah,
It's a
I can imagine.
Very complex thing. Anyhow, I made it then starting talking somehow, started with yoga, pushing my body and my mind and everything you can imagine. And then the journey continued. I was told by a friend of mine that there was this fantastic singing teacher in London who was like an expert in broken voices, because I couldn't really sing. I had a range of 4 or 5 notes, and that was it. Although I was cured, but I couldn't use the voice anymore, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just thinking now that how do you get that muscle working again then?
Yeah, well, I heard of that teacher. I had no money. I had no source of income to support my dream going to London to see this miracle teacher because as you can imagine, there was no way I could let anybody get to tell me very easily what to do with my throat after this experience, like a burned hands, burned person. It's very not very easy to trust someone. So I heard that, and for some reason, I thought I have to go and see this woman. So I called her up. She said, "Okay, come and sing for me. That was what you have to do." So I went to see her. Ay, 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 yeah. I went to see her, and I sang a song by Manuel de Falla, Asturiana, a tiny song with a range of 4 notes. It's a Spanish folk song. Imagine. And she said, okay. Then she started doing some exercises with me. And then she said to me, I don't know what to actually do with you.
Really?
Yes, because, this was Mrs. Lo Siutuan. This is my teacher until today. She said to me, well, Alexandra, I see this burning desire of yours to sing. If you can afford it, come and stay 2 months here in London, and we will work 2 months and see where it gets us. And we'll have the opinion of the grand master teacher Vera Rocha, Dame Vera Rocha, who doesn't live anymore. She was the teacher of Kiri Te Kanawa, Anne-Sophie von Otter, all the big superstars. And here the Alexandra comes along with no voice and wants to be a singer. Not just a singer, a superstar. It's crazy, no?
Yeah.
So I went. Yes, I went for 2 months and I stayed 12 years.
Really? In London
Yes.
then?
In London then with no penny, just my dreams. And I made it after 3 years of intensive studies with my teacher, who I adore, and I'm very grateful to her. And then I started to study with Dame Vera Rocha also. We made it. I started having auditions after 3, 4 years, but this is a very slow process. The voice had to come out, and others at my age were already like singing at opera companies, starting, and I was like still with my exercises. Well, it had been a long, long struggle. It was a struggle, but for some reason, I never lost faith, and never lost faith in me. I'm not talking about Jesus or some religion. I never lost faith in me because I really wanted this. I gave everything in my 20s and the early 30s. It was just like a total dedication. It still is, of course, but I just tell you this. That's why I asked you, how much time do you have?
No, but yeah.
That's why, because I learned the very tough way. Yeah, I had to gain my voice back, which I lost in a very, very slow way. But I got it back. And proof is all what happened then, my singing career, which is a total different chapter. Yeah, because that one changed also in the last 10 years, total change.
But Alexandra, I just want to ask you now, how did you keep motivated? Because I was thinking now that during this time, and you say it was little progression, and other people were already progressing so much more than you did. How did you keep yourself motivated in that time?
Well, look, it had been, of course, there were days I was really crying. I was like crying because of that frustration. In the 3 years I was with my teacher at the beginning, she hardly ever said to me that I have a good voice. Never, actually, I would say. That was already something, that's a very, very hard to take. especially when you think of yourself that you have a nice voice.
And
You
when you
know,
do all the sacrifice to be there,
yes,
and the expense and
yes. And
everything. Yeah.
and attending the classes of the bigger ones, the superstars, because I was allowed to sit with some of them many times, and trying to copy and to listen and to record the sessions and da. Well, what can I tell you? For some strange reason, I never had the desire to be something else. I wanted to be a singer. Very strange, don't you think? I mean, looking at the circumstances, I was living in poor circumstances. I had almost no money. I was trying to get jobs, to support my singing lessons because they were private. There was no way I could not audition for any college because the voice wasn't ready,
Yeah.
you see. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a singer. If I look at it back today, I mean, the motivation was I was waking up in the morning with this, yes, I'm fine, I can make this, and was sleeping in the night with, no, I can't make it.
Yeah. But
um,
also, and I also think when you keep motivating yourself motivated, but there must have been also people from the outside, probably close to you, saying, Alexandra, what are you doing? Or is it really worth all this time and money that you're spending?
yeah, my mother, yes, bless her heart, my dear mother. She was like, because, I grew up with my mother. My father died when I was very young. She was like saying, when I was like, oh, mom, on the phone, being in London, and she was in Germany, I say, Mama, this is hard, I can't do this. And she would just say, well, this is what you chose. Do it.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what she said. You have chosen this, so do it.
Mm.
And this is a woman saying, who was dreaming her daughter to become something amazing, like a doctor, or study things that she was not able to do. As all mothers and parents, we all have dreams for our children to become something, I don't know, super duper better than we are. No.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very normal thing to happen. So now, actually, the strange thing was, if I remember back, there wasn't actually somebody who was telling me, no, don't do it. What are you doing? No, very strangely. For some reason, they saw some miracle in me. I don't know, a dream or something. I've got no idea. But I've been asked many questions many times about, where did you get the strength from? Well, from inside of me, from my DNA, from who I knew that I have a voice. I just knew it because it was there before the whole thing happened.
Yeah.
And I wanted it back. And I wanted it back big time.
Well,
That's
it says
all.
a lot for a person's gut feeling, for that feeling that you knew you had to do that.
I think this is something I would always. I'm saying to my son today, the biggest wish I give you, of course, health, but I wish for you to find your passion. And when you find your passion, I will not be worried of what you will become. Find your passion. I know it sounds easy. For me, at least, I was born with that, so I didn't look for anything. It was just there. But the passion is that gives a meaning, at least for my standard. It gives a meaning to what you want to achieve and where you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. I've changed my career totally 10 years ago, when everybody was saying, you are absolutely crazy. Absolutely, from classical to go into your concert performances with your repertoire, total different stuff. And I said, well, this is what I feel I want to do, and I want to do it. And I did it, and I never looked back again. And I'm so happy for this new musical chance that was given to me by myself or somebody else, no idea. Just the inkling of my gut feeling. I felt like The classical music was not anymore that gave me my satisfaction as a singer. Yeah. I wanted to do what I wanted to always do when I was dreaming about singing. Yeah, I want to do this song. Oh, I would love to do this song. And these songs were not in particular Brahms, Strauss, you know?
Yeah.
So here we go. I've changed into a different repertoire. Yes. And I'm very happy I did. I found exactly what I wanted to be.
But now, going back to where you studied and where you developed your voice now, then you stepped into this classical career. How did that happen for you?
Well, the mezzo soprano voice, I mean, came actually through the studies. I wasn't aware that I had that voice, you know, through the training with my teacher, which was incredibly intense, I have to say, almost every day. For, you know, half an hour, 1 hour in the beginning, you know, and all of that. And suddenly this voice came out, which was like a very nice mezzo soprano with a contralto quality, right? And I actually, when I was through my singing studies, I went into this repertoire, into this world of classical music. You see what I mean? It just happened in that way. Um, and when my teacher was of the opinion that I could actually start auditioning in London, which, I mean, God, can you imagine starting auditioning in London, one of the hardest places for singers and musicians anyway, because the competition and the standards are incredibly high. So, yeah, it was at the beginning, nobody wanted me because I wasn't sure what I was doing, you know. I was trying here and there. It took like maybe 1 year of auditioning. At least I had an agent. That was already something, you know, to get into little roles here, little companies there, and then growing into the English National Opera Studio and then having like concert performances, oratorios, and then going out of England, you know, performing in Malaysia suddenly, and then going to the States suddenly to do this oratorio or this little role. You know, it started very slowly, until, you know, it became nice and good. But I was, instead of going to watch Covent Garden performances, I was going to jazz clubs.
Mm.
It's just because it
That
wasn't
yeah.
exactly what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? Music wise. I mean, it was something that I felt this is not going right.
Mm.
You know? So it took a long time to change, to have the courage to leave behind what I learned, in the sense, not all, of course, no, but to leave behind the what you have to be and to do thing with classical music. You have to follow this repertoire. You have to follow this attitude. You have to have this kind of technique, this kind of, you know, to achieve this song. Or I started to let go, you know, and to give space to my dreams. And I did it slowly and slowly, which was very hard, of course. If you are for years trained to go that way, and having the background that I had with this one, don't hurt it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I when I was ready and I knew vocally what I was doing, using my technique, using my sense of music aesthetics, and using my Greek spirit in the sense of wanting to be free, because that is, you know, that was incredibly important to me. I didn't want to sing anymore in companies. I didn't want to be told anymore to move this way or that way, do my this or do that. I wanted to just be my own boss. Well,
Yeah.
you know, in every sense. I didn't want to be told. At some point, I didn't want to be told anymore by my teacher what to do, what to sing, how to sing, by nobody to tell me, oh yeah, you do this repertoire because then you get this job, you do I didn't want any. I wanted to be my own boss in every way, and that's what happened. Yes.
Amazing. But that you are so brave to do that, you know, to step out of that
Yes.
that career, or
Yes.
to step out of that position to get to somewhere where you feel free and where you have that and because it's also not easy to be
No.
that free, you know, because you have to now do and decide and make everything work for yourself.
Totally, totally. But I was ready for that because I had this dream in me for such a long time. I knew where I wanted to go. I mean, one of my it sounds maybe strange, but for some reason, although I'm a Greek born in Germany and my first language actually is German, I have to say, because my whole education was German. First of all, I never went to Greek school, although now, of course, my Greek is, I wouldn't say perfect, but it's my language, it's my heart. I always wanted to sing Greek songs. I mean, like, very strange. But I assume that was because from a young age, this was the music I was like very much influenced by at home. And my mother I grew up at home with this love for Greece, and Greece was everything for us. As children, they adopt so much the feelings in a young age of their parents. So for me, it was always, I wanted to always sing Greek and have the Greek contemporary music and the Greek entertainment music, and that were like Mikis Theodorakis and all of these things. I wanted to be part of this, and I became part of this, very much so, very much so. But this has continued like into other repertoire, the Latin music. Like, I was very, very fortunate to actually, my last CD was with Latin songs, mainly from Mexico, which was voted the best album of the year in Mexico in 21.
Amazing.
I mean, things like that. I just came back from Kuwait, where I'm going. I have a new project. It's called Horizons. I'm doing all of these things, which are my babies. These are my babies. These
Yeah.
projects, and thank God I have the network now, to get things accomplished in a way. I know my people, my musicians, the people, the agents. So I have created this network that was very hard, of course, as we all
I
know.
can imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the network that has given me the total freedom to do what I want to do. Today I can say, yes, I want to sing that song. And yes, I'm not going to ask anyone for this because I know how to have it produced. I know who is involved, what is to be done. The whole system has changed. If you have the guts and the time to invest and a little bit of brain, you can produce your stuff. You can do your things. No, we're talking now on a platform together.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gives us a lot of freedom, and a lot of, the whole world has changed. So if you can use, as a young musician, or as a musician or an artist or whatever, the platform in the right way, you can get your dreams fulfilled.
Yeah.
I believe in that very much.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think also the pandemic has brought about this kind of freedom where I think people realize that they can do more, and they can do more themselves. But but what I want to ask you now is you're singing all these different genres now and different languages. Do you think each one sort of influence the other, that you bring some positives to everything, that you have now sort of connected all these parts of your art that you're doing?
What a wonderful question. That is really a very nice question, and I thank you
I'm
very
glad
much.
you like that.
I love that question. And you know why? Because people, there is what I'm doing. People like to put us all into into like you are a soprano, you are a rock singer, you are a chanteuse, whatever. People say, "Oh, you're a crossover singer." Well, in the real sense of the word, yes, I am. But the crossover genre, for my taste, has been like very much abused in many ways in the commercial way,
Yeah.
and we associate, you're a crossover singer, so you must be bad. You must be a bad classical singer, so you're doing that. You see what I mean? And I'm like, oof. When I hear that word crossover, it has this touch. But today I say, yes, I am a crossover singer because I am actually crossing borders. Yes, I do. And now coming to the point, what keeps all of these different genres together? Now, which genres do I actually use? I have, let's be very specific. For example, in my last project, which is called Horizons, which I premiered in October 22, actually in the Megaron Concert Hall, which is one of the main concert halls we have in Greece, in Athens. I exactly did that. What did I do? I took songs from different countries where I have actually been and performed, like Arabic songs, Chinese, Greek, of course, Latin American, mainly Mexican, German, of course, which is like, yeah. So, and I combined them in which way? They are from folk songs, they go from folk songs to Kurt Weill, to entertainment songs like La Vie en Rose by Piaf. So the clamor, how you say that in English, that combines all of this is my voice and the music and my musicians, because with this concert, we want to prove that music really doesn't have borders. It doesn't matter if you are musically educated, if you are a classical snob, or if you are a total normal, in brackets, listener without any musical education, if you understand Chinese or not, or Arabic, if you're familiar with the rhythms of an Arabic song or the keys of the music of Greece or Turkey or the Arabs or the Chinese, it doesn't matter. Music is good and bad for me. It's a question of how you present it to your audience.
Yeah.
And here comes me as a musician and my musicians and our arrangements. Of course, we are not making karaoke. We are not duplicating the songs. Yeah, that would be the worst thing you could tell me that we do. We are recreating the songs the way we think they should be, because we are musicians and we are interpreting this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are interpreting in the real sense of the word, the songs. And for me, Horizons means, guys, listen to this. Music is a border to cultures. We are everybody. We are one species called humans. Songs, languages unite. They don't put borders. Okay, we are not the first and not the only musicians that do that. Doesn't matter. We're just giving our input to our audiences that are coming to my sort of concerts like that to listen to that. You see what I mean? It's very important for me to give this message, especially nowadays. We're living in this more and more like the cultures, the people, the politicians, not the people, the politicians trying to get us to become more enemies than friends. And I feel like with this little thing that I put as a human being and with my songs and my voice, maybe we are giving a bit of more like coming together. This is very important for me. I just came back from Kuwait, where I'm going to do the Horizons in May. Very important to spread the word. Yes, there is a horizon for all of us. So this is, or I'm going to Guatemala back to Mexico in 2 months with my project. So I'm combining this. Yes, the Mexicans know their songs. Why should a Greek one sing their songs? Because I'm giving another color to it, a different perspective to their songs. And with them, I will introduce them to my Greek songs also, or to an Arabic song. You know what I mean? So,
That's
yes,
wonderful. Yeah.
this is what I am doing at the moment, and I love it. I love to explore the songs. I love the languages, and if I can combine things together, if I can make the Mexicans sing their songs in the concerts, or the Arabs, I was just, as I told you, in Kuwait, make them sing their Arabic song with me, the Greek. Oh my God, yes, I'm happy. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I'm very happy to do that.
But isn't that's such a wonderful way of looking at it? And what is so interesting that you talk about the languages is I did an interview with Conroy Cupido. He's a music professor in South Africa, and he did a project where he had artists hear music and songs of languages they didn't understand, and he asked them to make artworks of what they feel this means.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And you know what? He said that all the artworks are spot on to what the meanings of the songs were. And even though these artists didn't understand a word of the music. So this is exactly where this comes back to, is that
Gorgeous.
you sing these different languages, and the way you present it and the way you have interpreted is also makes the audience understand what you are singing.
I mean, the example you just said about this gentleman, I would love to meet him actually. It was a wonderful project.
I'll connect you. Yeah.
It shows us again with another medium of art that, my God, what is the fuss all about? We are humans, all of us. What is the fuss about trying to see differences? Try and see what we all have in common. It's our soul. It's the feelings we have. We all have the same feelings. Who cares about the color of my skin? Who cares about if I like to eat spaghetti or potatoes? You know, who cares about that? I really hope that the next generation will be much freer than my generation, because it looks like they are starting to get stuck in a way, and I so much hope that this is going to change because there is nothing that we should be jealous of each other. I mean, okay, what can I say? Then now comes that, which song pops into my brain now? Imagine by John Lennon here.
Yeah.
They say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one, and this was composed like 40 years ago, and it's still here. So, yeah, nice to hear about this kind of project too. Very nice.
No, I think a lot of positive things happen, and it's so good. I feel so fortunate that I can hear about this, but it's so lovely to also get your reaction. But Alexandra, I would love if you could sing an Afrikaans song one day.
Well, you have to teach me. I would love to. Actually, you know what? Very strangely, I have actually been asked to go and sing in Tanzania. I'm like,
really?
What? I said, where is it?
No, but but I've spoken to a soprano in South Africa, and she was telling me that in Afrikaans actually, and because I don't have that great classical knowledge, but we have the most beautiful leader in Afrikaans as well. But we have the most amazing songwriters also in South Africa and in Afrikaans, who writes the most incredible songs about. I'm just thinking about a song that really describes the country, the nature and and it's a love song that someone wrote. This is such a beautiful song, and yeah.
Well, when we finish this conversation, I want you to send me the title, please. And if
Okay.
there is a link I can listen to this, please do, because I love to explore new things. And having said that, now that you say this, when I was in China, when I was invited to sing in China, 5 concerts, and I was like, what can I sing? I don't know this culture at all. What is there?
Yeah.
What can I do? I discovered a beautiful song of theirs called The Jasmine Flower. And coincidentally, in Greece, we have a beautiful folk song called The Jasmine Flower. And
Really?
I combined them. And since then, I am singing them together. So who knows? Maybe with this song from Africa, with Afrikaans, of course, you have to teach me how to sing Afrikaans. I've got no idea. These are wonderful things. If there is something like that, wow, that would be great.
But this is also then, connecting with other countries and other singers and other, languages. I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a joy. It is a joy. Suddenly, really, I feel like the world has become very small.
Yeah.
Suddenly for me, strangely enough, yesterday I was like, when I was running, which is one of my passions, I was running, I was thinking, my God, the world is actually small. I had this, with my projects in my mind, I was thinking, oh, yes, it's actually small. Everything is getting small.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. It's wonderful. It means we are much closer to each other.
But look, we're talking, like you say, and it's just incredible that we think how many people we can connect to now because of social media, because of the internet, and we have to use this. And I think this is amazing, and it brings a lot of creativity also about.
And I think the word creativity that you just used is the word for positive thinking.
Yeah.
I have never met somebody who is creative, who is actually bad. If you are in a creative mood and you have the creative spirit, you're actually a positive person. So the creativity and the connection that is done with creativity, I think is just a key, possibly, maybe, to a better life for everyone.
Yeah.
Because we wake up every morning in a way, no? We wake up and then the day makes us. And if we have conversation, like I'm talking to you now, I'm so happy. It's a conversation that is inspiring, right? It is an exchange of thoughts, exchange of ideas, exchange of maybe new creative processes, right? And it makes my day, actually.
No, that's true. Well, I'm very fortunate because I speak to a lot of lovely, creative people like yourself, and it inspires me a lot.
Wonderful. You're you should be very proud of you to have created this beautiful interview platform. And that is really lovely. And wow, I think that's a super idea.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. That means a lot to me.
You're very welcome.
But Alexandra, now tell me, you've achieved so much already, and what is the wish now for you for the future, apart from singing an Afrikaans song?
Yes. Well, I mean, of course, I have wishes. Yes, I have wishes. I want to sing nonstop in different songs. I feel like at this moment the earth is rushing. I feel like rushing. I feel like it's possibly because of the COVID. I don't know. Now that we are back into kind of a normal life, I want to do different things. I just recorded a new song that's going to be the title song of a Greek movie, where I'm very happy with a nice song, which is in a jazz style. And that has inspired me to go to the studio and try out some jazz things, but nothing experimental, more like the way I could sing some jazz standards. So that is something I'm looking forward to. Then I have a nice project that is going to actually come out this year. Mikis Theodorakis, our great Greek composer, who died 1.5 years ago. I recorded some of his songs, which I always wanted to sing. So it's going to come out this year on CD. There is a new Latin album I'm going to start recording in April in Mexico with
Wow.
with new songs. So I'm very excited about that one. I want to be healthy to do all of these things that I have in mind, which sometimes is a bit too much, and I'm like, oh God, how I have to put them in case I have to sort them out in my brain. I want to record as many songs as possible in the next 5 years. This is my goal. And we shall see what will happen. And the concerts, thank God, are coming in now with, after the pandemia. I can travel with my Horizons and my El Amor es Vida project, which is my Latin American project. Going to Guatemala, Argentina, and Colombia also this year. So I'm very, very happy about this, and see what else can come out of that. So looking forward to this.
Amazing. Yeah, I love your energy, your whole positive outlook, and it's very inspirational. And your story, I mean, coming from there, you've really achieved so much, and I have no doubt that all these wishes will come true.
Thank you so much. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, what I will tell you now might sound a little bit macabre, but it's the truth. I mean, if you feel like sad and very down and very like, oh God, everything is against me, just pass by a graveyard. These souls, these bodies, or these people used to live. They used to live. They had dreams, they had love affairs, they had jobs, they had all of this, what I have now. But I'm still alive. So let's make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Because when I'm on that other side there, I don't know if there's a heaven or not. I mean, but let's see what I see at this moment. The space where, which is called a graveyard. I don't do these things anymore. I love at this moment. So this is a source of energy for every day, and to get you back into the, come on, do something. No?
Yeah.
I know we all know theoretically about, yes, take every day, wonderful, nada, but it's sometimes not easy to put it into practice, because we lack of energy sometimes. We lack we are sad because some things happen. But then I get myself up again. I was like, come on, wake up, because it could be different, and thank God it's not.
Yeah.
And take the best out of it, as long as as you can have it. No.
Yeah.
Like put on your makeup, put on your beautiful jewelry. Make yourself pretty. Sometimes, some people may say, "Oh God, what are you doing? Well, this is not important." Yes, it is important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
I absolutely agree. Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. But Alexandra, I just want to have one more question for you. What do you do after a concert? Do you drink wine? Do you drink coffee? Do you go for a meal? Or what is your ritual after a concert?
I don't have a ritual, but it all depends on what will happen after that concert. If I have more concerts to come, like in 2 days, or I will just not drink any alcohol. I will not talk. I will go straight home. I will say to everybody, it was lovely meeting you. I can't come to the dinner. I have to go and save up my voice, because my voice, I have to take care to have it fresh and nice for the next concerts. But if I do not have a concert after, let's say, if I am free for another week, Oh, yes, I'm going to go partying. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to have my wine. I'm going to shout. I'm going to talk. I'm
Okay.
going to have a great time with my musicians and all my friends and all these people who love to have me with them, who have been, in the concert.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. And I
Okay.
don't care if I will be like this the next morning,
Yeah.
but you know, I will enjoy it. Yes, I will. But as I said, if I have to have another concert next 2 days or one day, I will just discipline
Oh, okay.
myself.
Okay.
Otherwise, no. No.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's yes, I love to party. If I
Okay.
have the opportunity and
Yeah.
I definitely do that. Yes.
Okay. Oh, Alexandra, this is so wonderful. And it was so wonderful talking to you now. And
Yes. I
I
enjoyed
wish
it
you,
very much.
yeah, I hope that one day we could meet in person. If ever you come to Vienna, that would be so
Totally.
great. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, absolutely. When you come to Athens, here we are. This is
Yeah.
my base. This is my
Okay.
base now here, and would be lovely. I don't know if you have snow, but we are still all right. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and having lived in cold countries most of my life, to be honest with you, I do not prefer to live in cold countries
Yeah.
anymore. I
Okay.
want my sunshine. That's why I'm so
Amazing.
happy to be in Mexico and in Greece.
Yeah.
Yes, no cold, please. Um, I was asked by a friend, come on, let's go skiing. I said, no way, it's too cold. Not for me. No, merci.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But anyway, have a wonderful afternoon, Alexandra, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very, very
Okay.
much. And you too, you're a lovely person. Your smile is
Thank you.
just amazing. So it has been lovely talking to you and to all your friends, and speak very soon. And I'm waiting for this title, please. The
Okay.
Afrikaans
Okay.
song.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yasu from Greece. Yasu.
Oh, yes. Tot ziens from Afrikaans.